In the past few years, trans rights, gender identity and feminism have sparked discussion on a large scale. From Caitlyn Jenner to body hair, Jaden Smith to pronouns, in 2015 gender captured the headlines, prompting many of us to question its necessity and think about how we identify ourselves.
Gender is a social construct, like clothes or colours, all that stuff that just puts you in like one or the other. Although now it's like a scale, I think.
Gender is whether you are a boy or a girl, which is assigned at birth, well, conception.
I would define it by the genital organs.
What each person thinks they are.
Gender's not based on physiology, but it's based on the constructed cultural and social differences between men and women. So that's what gender is.
Scientifically, you're a boy or a girl, but as you grow up, you can be either a very masculine female and still enjoy sex with men, or you're a very feminine male, or you can, just be fluid. You can be whoever.
You can be fluid.
Whoever you like. Fluid sexuality, yeah, fluid gender. It's a thing.
I'm old-fashioned. Man or woman, that's my thing. That's it. No, if you're a man, you're born a man, you're born a woman. There's no such thing as gender fluidity. I think it's just modern society and all that rubbish.
Gender is what we see ourselves as compared to just our biology.
The characteristics that like society has built to separate women and men. So like all these categories, and like whether we fit into like that one or the other like makes us woman or man, or if we don't fit into one of them, then you're agender, and then if you're a mixture of both, then you're genderqueer, I guess. Yeah, that's how I see it anyway.
Femininity, I don't think that there are like distinct boundaries between different genders. I think there are different like males who are feminine and females who are masculine.
I define femininity as something which allows you to be gentle and powerful at the same time.
Well, for clothes and stuff, it's like dresses, skirts, makeup, long hair usually is associated with being feminine. And then like personality, like factors like being kind, like soft-spoken.
For females, the traditional associations would be motherly, or being humble, or vain.
Being less aggressive, mothering, nurturing.
Yeah. I think it's just an evolution thing though, because like, obviously...
I think it's social, like, pressures as well, because it was an evolution that categorised dresses and skirts for women.
Yeah.
The capability to be open emotionally and freedom to sort of express your emotion. Whereas masculinity I associate more with aggression, physical strength and oppressed emotion.
Tall is masculine, a deeper voice is masculine, I guess. Keywords like strong, dominant,
Aggressive,
yeah.
Examples would be assertiveness or dominance.
Even like the way you sit, like even a simple thing like just sitting with your legs out is like a masculine thing, isn't it? Like your crotch out and everything. And then like crossing your legs is feminine. Drinks, like alcoholic drinks. Like if a guy orders like a, I don't know, pina colada, it's like, ooh, that isn't a masculine drink. Same with girls as well, if they get like a beer or something.
Hypermasculinity is an exaggerated form of masculinity.
if a guy does something that's typically feminine, they have to somehow make it masculine, even if it makes it sound ridiculous. For example, a man bun or
guy liner, yeah.
man bag.
Oh yeah, like a man purse. Yeah, I remember that episode in Friends when Joey's like, look at my new man purse, and it's like, it's a purse. Or his make when he did that lipstick as well, like the man lipstick.
However, I'm not sure how much I define masculinity as hypermasculinity. For example, I think I just see femininity and hypermasculinity. I don't really see sort of a simple, unexaggerated masculinity around me.
They're so sensitive to like the gender norms. So like they push out
possibly being feminine is like
a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they force this kind of like a super like masculine kind of like way of thinking. So it's like, no, it can't be a perfume or whatever. This is not like like it's a man's perfume. This is a man's smell. Like they kind of have to kind of force the whole man thing because they're like afraid.
Being masculine is typically being strong and like a provider.
Yeah.
I think to be feminine is like taken away from that in a sense.
Yeah, so they kind of have to like push it out a bit more by like putting man in front of everything or like being extra aggressive, or it's just to make up for their own insecurities. I think that deep fear of like being seen as weak because like society's told them from like day one that you're the strong kind of leader.
Gender norms aren't really a bad thing, in my opinion, because it's all down to the person's personality, really. I mean, if somebody chooses to participate in an activity that's sort of against their gender, their traditional gender, then some people may frown upon that and question that.
When a woman does very successfully in a male-orientated field, she still says things like, I have done very well in a male-dominated field. Why the hell do you just bring that up?
Well, you need to bring it up because it's the status quo. If you lived in a world where, as a woman...
But then that completely gets rid of the idea of the focus that woman achieved her position due to merit. The minute she says a comment like that, or anyone even if a man brings up a comment like that, you're simply going to think that, oh, she's a woman.
You know, like just the simple differences between our personality, like men are seen as just dominant and respectable, I guess. Well, so then it's like if women are at the top, their argument is like, they won't be taken seriously, or a diva, or like they're just hormonal, or like there'll just be all these excuses.
You just like think, oh, she made it in the man's world. I don't care.
Yeah, but you say that though, and that's great because like you guys don't see it that way, and that's amazing.
Yeah,
but then you still have articles with women being asked, how are you gonna balance your career with family? And it's like, a man is never asked that.
I do think it's because of like it's ingrained into us from a young age. Like we were saying about in a toy shop, like the boys' toys are the science kits and the construction kits, and the girls are all the arts and crafts and the dolls, and the house kits, the toy food.
Originally you'd think gender norms lead to sexism, like the only reason why they're sexist is because of the gender norms, but then like say the food industry, like a lot, you would think because women are like told to be at home and like cook, so you'd think more women would be in that industry, but it's like literally majority like men, so it's kind of not norms, like because of gender norms, like why men are like dominating that industry, because you'd think women would be in it, so it's just, I don't know.
But then men do dominate most industries, like for example politics, that's not as science or like maths, or typically it's like a liberal art, I guess, and like look in the House of Commons for men.
I think sexism leads to gender norms, or it has led to gender norms, and gender norms perpetuate sexism, so it's a vicious cycle.
Gender is defined as the state of being male or female, as expressed by social or cultural distinctions and differences, rather than biological ones. But it's clear that each person has their own interpretation, and through discussion, we can begin to understand why some choose to challenge the conventional binary, while others stick by it.